So, hello everyone. So, before starting, I would like to tell you all that please take a pen and paper so that you can make the notes side by side. So, here we begin. So, first is let's see law. Law is divided into two parts. It is civil law and criminal law. And the same civil law is also divided into two parts, that is contracts and torts. So today we'll be covering torts. So here we begin. So first torts. So let's see. Torts definition in Latin word is tortum, which means to twist. So now let's see actual definition for torts. So it is the conduct, or you can say an act that violates the legal rights of an individual. So let me explain you this through an example. So the example is defamation. So defamation means that speaking in a way that belittle the other person. So let me explain you. So as per Article 19, you have been the right to speech, but it's not absolute. So if you're speaking in a way that hurts the other person, so that is defamation. Okay. So another example for tort is trespass. So trespass means entering without permission in others' land. So as per Article 21, you have right to privacy. So if you are entering in someone's house or like in someone's playground without their permission, so that is trespass and that will come under torts. Okay. So now let's see some property for torts. So first is it is not applicable in India. And second is it is uncodified. And there is a word in torts that is tortfeasor, so which means tort doer. Okay, and if we see source for torts, then that is common law judgments of courts. So what is the legal action? So that is payback or compensation to the plaintiff. So now you might be wondering what is plaintiff. So there are two words that are plaintiff and defendant. So plaintiff is the person who filed the case, okay, and defendant is the person against whom the file is placed. Okay, so let's see. Complainer and who wants compensation, and defendants against whom the plaintiff has filed the case. So now let's see the difference between civil law and criminal law. So in civil law, the act is done between the individual. And in criminal law, it affects the public at large, okay? Okay, then in civil law, there is negligence and defamation. So first let's see what is negligence and defamation. So for negligence, you can see it occurs when there is lack of care. So let's take example. A building is being constructed and a brick falls on the person passing. So this is the case of negligence. And for second, defamation, when a person speaks something that harms the reputation of another person. Example, a person A speaks that a person B is a thief in a marriage crowd, and the case is that B is innocent. So that is the case for defamation. And in criminal law, it's murder and theft. Okay, so now in this it is wrong, and this it is crime or an offense. Okay, so in this, the person who files the case is known as the plaintiff, and in this case the plaintiff files the case through the lawyer, and in this directly to the police, and that is public prosecutor. Okay, so in this, intention is not important, but in this, intention is important. In this civil proceeding is known as suit, and in this criminal proceeding is known as prosecution. Okay, and in this case compensation is given, and in this case punishment is given. And in this case we'll see they are liable or not liable, and in this case we'll see they are guilty or not guilty. So now let's see classification for torts. So there are three classification. So first one is personal wrong, then second one is property wrong, and third one is personal plus property wrong. So now let's see personal wrong. So in this it is injury to the person only. And so first let's see for body. So for body, first one is assault. See, first you all can write it, then I will explain you one by one. Okay, so second is battery, and third is false imprisonment, and fourth is nervous shock. Then for dignity, libel, second is slander, and third is malicious prosecution. So then for personal wrong, property wrong. So now let's see for property wrong. So in this, injury to the property only. So now let's see. So property wrong are of two types. First one is movable. So in this you can see example of trespass to goods or conversion. Then second type is immovable. So in this it is trespass to land. So now let's see for personal plus property wrong. So that is negligence, and second is nuisance. So now let me explain you for personal wrong. So first one is assault. So in assault what happens? It's like that there is no physical touch. But a person makes another person fear through gestures such as showing fist so that the other person feels scared, or showing the slap, but no actual physical touch. And in battery what happens? There is physical touch. such as slapping, kicking, and many more. Okay, so now in false imprisonment, you can take the example that a person was found innocent but still put behind the bar. Okay, so now let's see for nervous shock. So in this, you can see, so in nervous shock, you can see that there occurred some shocking event and that caused harm to mental peace. So for example, you can see there occurred an accident and a pregnant lady saw, and there was a stillborn child. So this is an example of nervous shock. So now let's see dignity part. So libel and slander, and you can see that these both are part of defamation. So now let's see the difference between this. So in slander, we have to see that these are non-permanent and these are words or gestures, and you can see that they are oral or live spoken. And in this, you can see that they are permanent form, and these are done through drawings, write-ups, and statue. So they are written form. So now let me explain you. So as you know that defamation is when we are speaking something and it harms the reputation of another person. So that can be in written form or oral form. So if they are in written form, so they will it will come in libel, and if they are in oral form, so it will come in slander. So you can see if someone have defamed the other person through writing in the magazines and all, then it will come in this. Or if someone has defamed the other person during the speech in the crowd or something, so it will come in this form. So now let's go for this. So movable, trespass to goods or conversion, and in movable, trespass to land. So let's see what is trespass. So entering in someone's land without permission. So trespass to goods or conversion. So in this, you can take the example that a necklace was found on the road and a person A picks up and knowing that it belongs to another person, but still says that this belongs to him. So you can say this is the case of goods conversion. Okay, now for seeing trespass to land, so you can see that A group of children were playing in the playground. During the play, their ball goes to the house nearby, and the child goes to the land without permission to get his ball. So this is the case for trespass to land. Okay. So now for negligence and nuisance. So let's see for negligence. So there is lack of care. So I've already explained you, but still I'm giving the example. So you can see that there was a building being constructed, building construction, and a brick falls on a person A. So that is negligence, because over here the person who was constructing the building has the duty to take care of the materials, but he did not take care of the material over here, and it hurted the person A. So it is negligence. And for nuisance, so in this it is unreasonable use of property. So how? Let's take an example like a party was being conducted next door, and songs sound was high volume. Person A had an exam next day and could not study due to loud music. So you can see that a person A, there was a party next door to person A's house, and the music that was played was of very high volume, and he could not study. So you can say that it is nuisance, because the person was misusing his property by disturbing the other person. So now let's see essentials for torts. So first is some act or omission, and second is result in some legal damage. So let's see, for example, some act. Some act means activities that you were not supposed to do but you have done. Okay. And in omission, activities that you have to do but not done. Okay. And if we do this and there has to be some legal damage occurred to the other person, then there will be tort occurred. So now let's see legal maxim. So first one is injuria sine demnum. So this refers to injury. Sine means without, and demnum means damage. So now let's first see what this injury means over here and what does damage means over here. So injury refers to violation of legal right. Okay, and damage refers to any kind of loss that is material, like loss of money or loss of any goods. So now let's understand this maxim to an example. Let's take the case of SB versus White. So in this case, what's happened is there is a valid voter named SVB who goes to the voting booth, but the returning officer refuses to allow him to vote. So in this case, you can see that there is no loss of material, but there is violation of his legal right, as he has the right to vote, but the returning officer did not allow him to vote. So in this case, you can write that there was violation of legal right. Violation. Okay. So the second maxim is damnum sine injuria. Okay. So this maxim means damage without injury. So now let's understand this maxim through an example. Let's take the case of Gloucester Grammar School case. So in this case what happens is that the school teacher the school teacher which school teacher? This school teacher. Okay, so the school teacher left the school and set up his own school, and the teacher charges very low. So charges are very low. So what happens that the children started to join this school. So over here you can say that there was monetary loss. Monetary means money loss. Okay, and over here there is no legal injury. So over here there is damage. Okay, monetary loss, damage.